Welcome back. Now, the U.S. has entered the fray as far as the Iran-Israel war is concerned, striking 3 of Iran's nuclear sites. There are questions around the legality of the move, while all eyes are on Russia and China, Iran's most powerful allies, for their response. President Ramaphosa, in the meantime, has said that government has noted the U.S.'s involvement with a great deal of anxiety. What does all this mean for the rest of the world? David Monyae, Associate Professor of Political Science and International Relations at the University of Johannesburg, joins us with his take. David, thanks so much for your time this afternoon. And I guess let's start right at the top. Just your reaction of the move, right? The sudden change of heart from the U.S.
This has caused quite a lot of concern all over the world. I think the impact will be felt from now onwards, as it will have a negative impact on markets, peace and security, not just in the Middle East, but in the world. But more importantly, to the international rule of law. Because this action violates the UN Charter, it also violates international law.
And could this move lead to more countries getting involved in the war? While Iran has vowed to retaliate, we've heard from some of its allies, Russia and China, calling for a ceasefire. Does this provide some sort of comfort?
I think the biggest worry is not that United States and its allies and will have a direct war with Iran and its friends. The greatest fear, I think, has to do with the nuclear sites that are being bombed in Iran, as a possible bombing of Israelis on nuclear sites and a possibility of nuclear radiation. And that kind of a disaster will have a huge impact in the region and the world. But when it comes to China and Russia, I doubt very much that they will step in directly to confront United States and Israel in the war itself. However, one will expect these countries to assist a friend in need, and therefore I think assistance, whether it's in weapons, strategy, or anything else, I think it's something that has been going on for a while.
Yeah. And what happens now, David? How might Iran respond? Should we expect to see Iran perhaps, close the Strait of Hormuz?
I think Iran is moving very cautiously if you look at the strategies that they are using. I think their main focus is Israel with these long-range missiles. And Israel is no longer at peace. Its all defensive mechanisms are not working perfectly as we were told before. And therefore, I doubt if Iran wants to go directly into a war with the United States. I think they will avoid, given the fact that I think President Trump, as much as he speaks a lot and he has indicated that he has opened an off-ramp to the crisis, that this is once-off bombing, and is not interested in continuing the war directly with Iran.
With that being said, then, is there still room for diplomatic negotiations?
Yeah, indeed. If Iran could concentrate on Israel and avoid the United States entering, and positive signals are coming from Washington as we speak, that the United States wants to have direct negotiations with Iran. I think that's good news. If these two can keep on discussing and finding ways of resolving their differences, I think the Israel part or European Union or any other players in the theater will be neutralized, because the United States is the core power when it comes to this conflict.
And just bringing it back home, we heard from the presidency over the weekend expressing disappointment in the U.S.'s involvement and calling for peace. Just how much weight does our voice hold, considering that we are known for a country that does advocate for peace, and considering that Iran, like SA, is also part of BRICS?
South Africa does carry weight on international platforms And in this regard, I think you are mindful of the case in which South Africa has taken Israel to ICJ
Yep.
over the Palestinian genocide. And therefore, I think this continued registering dismay on what is happening, I think goes a long way in strengthening multilateralism. I think for South Africa, it is neutral, non-aligned, and it strongly believes in multilateralism, strengthening of UN, global institutions, institutions of global governance, and ensure that international law is followed, avoid unilateralism and unnecessary wars, as the case in these recent events in Iran.
And David, just quickly, I can imagine how much of a tough or delicate balancing act it is for South Africa, given where things are at with the SA-US relations, and also just our stance on world peace.
I think South Africa is speaking on principles.
Yeah.
I think it's important to state where you stand, and somehow avoid getting involved in any way. South Africa is far away from the region. However, given the nature of this kind of conflicts, it will definitely be impacted. As you can see, oil prices will be on the increase, and it has direct impact on South Africa's economy and the continent as a whole.
All right, let's leave it there. Thanks so much for your time and sharing your insights. That was international relations and foreign policy expert David Monyae.